What I'm about to present to you is some of the most disgusting and depraved stuff I've ever seen in my life. I'm talking evil incarnate. The Epstein files just got way worse, y'all. They keep getting worse. This rabbit hole seems to be never ending. I'm talking about stuff with babies. I'm talking about stuff with the nature of the food these people would eat, hunting parties, potential terrorist attacks and conspiracy theories related to those that are involved, and election interference. We're going down an even deeper rabbit hole than we ever could have imagined. After Pam Bondi's pathetic and disgraceful attempt at a hearing, people started looking into more files and found way more shit than we thought was there. It just keeps getting more and more incriminating as you go down the line. Apparently, and this is false information, might I add, the DOJ released all the files. All the files are out and all the unredacted names are out. The entire list is out. Both of these things are false, by the way. They released a list. They didn't shy away from putting names like Trump on that list. You got Clintons, you got Bidens, you got all sorts of people on here. But people started noticing something very, very interesting about this. Various congressmen saw this and were like, what the hell is this? Are you guys muddying the waters intentionally with names that are irrelevant? Because the DOJ included names that Epstein might have mentioned in passing. I'm talking about names like Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley, who he could not have possibly done anything with on an island. Marilyn Monroe, I think she died when Epstein was like a teenager or 9. Elvis Presley, there's some other people that would have been dead. So people are asking, wait, did Pam Bondi just take a list of all the names that were mentioned ever, put them in this list, just for the purposes of saying, hey, some people might have been involved, some people aren't, but you know for a fact there are people mentioned that aren't involved. So you can't look into any of these specific people because not all of these people were involved with Epstein like that. So this is the list. Here you go. But nothing can be done because it's all very blurred and half of them are names that are not relevant and just referenced by Epstein. And nothing's going to be done about the other half, which is the more incriminated one. It's very evident that this is what happened because Pam Bondi put her own name. She put Thomas Massey's name, right? Just as an excuse to say, hey, haha, your name's on this too, and oh, my name's on this too, and we couldn't possibly have done anything with Epstein, so we can't really look at this list. But that's all we have, folks. So, see, nothing to see here. They think they're being smart, and they think they can fool the general public, which, to be honest, there's a lot of people who did get fooled. I think people are being intentionally obtuse, by the way, by believing any of this shit. They even say right above the list, while other individuals are mentioned only in a portion of the document, that on its face is unrelated to the Epstein and Maxwell matters. So, in summary, nothing's going to be done about any of the names of this list because, oh, they're blurred lines everywhere. Not all of them can be accounted for. It's not all relevant to Epstein, so anyways, that's all we have. But funnily enough, there are still some names missing. Some very important names. Conveniently missing, like the Rothschilds. I know for a fact there's at least one member of that family that was in an email with Epstein or an associate. And they were also referenced and mentioned. So why aren't they there? Why isn't Elon Musk's brother there? There are some people missing that clearly were on the emails but aren't there? Interesting. A bunch of fans of this administration, let's just say that, are saying, oh, see, they released all the files. False! False. We have seen 1% of the files, and it's going to be proven in a minute. Trump's been vindicated. How? Who? Where? What? Even if you say, oh, look at all the Democrats on this list, it backfired on them. Trump's name is on the list. Several family members of his are on the list. Nobody has been vindicated or excommunicated as a result of anything that was shown here. And we have a lot of pundits and influencers copy-pasting. Literally copy-pasting the exact script and spamming it everywhere on social media. Oh, see, they released all the files, nothing was done, Trump has been vindicated. Like, what the hell is this? This is bullshit. AI that's been sus as hell and been playing cover for Elon is fact-checking these people, saying, no, this is just a list of names. They have not released any more files. Pam Bondi has not released shit since her hearing. You have people, both Republicans and Democrats, coming out saying Trump blocked the release of the files. Yes, they're being released right now under his administration because by law it has to be, and even then they're not releasing all of them, and even then they're scrubbing them and redacting the names. Where is common sense? Where's critical thinking? Is it gone? Oh, it's all fake though. It's all fake. All good. Nobody in either party wanted this to be released, to be clear. This goes back decades. Multiple administrations are involved. That doesn't mean this administration also isn't involved. You fucking idiots. House Representative Nancy Mace is looking into the CIA documents because that's supposed to provide a lot more information. I fully expect her to be killed. Now we're going to go into the crazy conspiracy stuff that the Epstein files have embroiled themselves in, because a lot of people saw some very questionable shit, specifically in regards to an event that took place September 11th. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get demonetized, but so let me just read. I'm just reading shit, guys. No defamation. So Ghislaine Maxwell replied to somebody asking if she was interested in being the shadow commission on 9/11. The membership list is secret. Ghislaine said, I cannot be on the shadow commission. Okay. Somebody sent this to Ghislaine Maxwell saying, where is the real pilot? Notice the date here. And then there's another email with a subject. This is Liev Schreiber. I don't know if this is the actor Liev, because that's the only Liev Schreiber I know. If it is, my lord. No defamation. I'm not saying that is. I really hope it isn't, because I actually like that actor. How are you, Liev? In this email chain with the subject line saying New World Trade Center Building, September 17, 2001. Another email, the month after, from Ghislaine Maxwell. In the year 2032, a father and his son walk the streets of Lower Manhattan, approaching the site where the WTC used to be in the end of the 20th century. The father sighs and comments, to think that right here used to be the Twin Towers. The son, not understanding, asks his father, what are the Twin Towers? The father smiles and looks at the son and explains the Twin Towers were two huge buildings that used to be here until 2001, when the Arabs destroyed them. The son looks up to his father and asks, and what are the Arabs? Take that to mean what you will, but I'm going to say there are a lot of references in these emails about what Ghislaine and Jeffrey might have thought about Arabs. And references to eradicating them as a whole. And I'm not saying any of this means anything about those events that took place on that fateful, terrifying day in American history. I'm not saying anything. We know there are a lot of conspiracies related to what really happened that day and who was really behind that. I am not here to talk about that. I'm just reading shit. I'm not making any conclusions. None. This is not evidence of anything. Okay? There's a list of Illuminati families and associates. I don't know who cultivated this list. I don't know where this is from. But Jeffrey Epstein was a member of the Illuminati North American group. I don't know. I don't know. Somehow Epstein is related to every conspiracy known to man. Okay? Here's another weird sus email. So somebody's talking about the school trip. This is, I was planted in the presidential suite overseeing food supply and watching 4 weddings and a funeral. None of us knew what 100 screaming kids would look like. But now we know. My colleagues say that now they finally know the only thing that can overpower my voice, 100 screaming kids. We almost lost a kid this time, coming back from redacted. Could it be Zorro's ranch? Could it be an island? Could it be the White House? Could it be who knows? Late at night, a kid needed to do some personal business and the bus stopped in the desert. Sounds like they were going on a ranch somewhere. The kid got out and went to a ditch. The bus took off. Luckily, a bus behind stopped. That would just not have looked good on the front page of New York Times. The acceptance rate would not be 100% as it currently is. I don't know what this is or what this means. A lot of people have, laid out conspiracies about, missing kids in a ranch in the middle of the desert. Who knows? I'm just reading shit that sounds sus. This TikToker looked into the Epstein files and found another thing that was interesting. Epstein talks a lot about a specific chemical within something called trumpet plants, which are very toxic, okay? He talks a lot about them and references to using them. The chemicals in trumpet plants have been historically and criminally used to incapacitate people and alter their mental state in a form of control. These plants contain high concentrations of potent toxins that can basically turn people into a controllable zombie. It would be very useful if you're Epstein and you really want a bunch of kids to lay down for you a little bit. Do some things for you. In fact, there are videos with Epstein and kids where the kids do look like they're in a daze, some of them. Soon people won't be able to make new humans, but I guess that would be La La Land great. We can just design them in a lab. There's a lot of talk about human cloning, genetic experiments. Remember, Epstein apparently wanted to create a whole new human race with his own DNA. There are references to a full-fledged sterilization plan for the human populace. Jeffrey Epstein's butler was caught in an FBI sting in 2009 trying to sell the client and victim list. He had a list of clients for Epstein with victims. He detailed the entire operation. The FBI did nothing. He gave them a whole black book. This 97-page book was made public in 2015, contained over 1,500 names linked to Epstein's network. The FBI didn't do shit with this, I guess. This guy was eventually arrested, charged with obstruction of justice, held in 18 months in prison, and then he was found dead later. I think he died of, was it some kind of cancer? Regardless, who knows what really killed him? But anyways, now we get to the whoops angles. Epstein would love to use this word in response to things. A certain girl was R-worded when she was 18. Anna just told me today. Jeffrey replying, whoops. RFK's wife was found dead in her backyard. Jeffrey Epstein. Whoops. And this is very similar to that one Jesus email that a lot of people went off about. A girl said she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. Haha. Whoops. Guess God wasn't in her bed. Guess who else was? Dr. Mehmet Oz, now the administrator for Medicare and Medicaid services, invited Epstein for a Valentine's Day party 8 years after he was registered as a sex offender. Ha! Whoops! Didn't know! Leon Black apparently was accused of abusing multiple kids, one of them being a 16-year-old autistic kid who had... intellectually, he was like 12 or 11. Haha! Whoops! Leon Black has been accused of many things, by the way. He's heavily indicted in these Epstein files. Somebody needs to look into him. The person who sent that email saying, thank you for a fun night, your littlest girl was a little naughty, was Susan Hamlin. Remember, The Sun did a story about her grooming a teen girl. And I think Susan Hamlin won the libel case against them. But now this shit's coming out, so kind of... I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about her. Susan Hamlin is a financial advisor and founder of the adoption agency Kids to Families. If she did send that email, not a good thing to send. Not a great look, especially if you are a founder of this. And also Epstein ordered a fuck ton of sulfuric acid. Who knows what that could have been used for? There's a lot of evidence he probably wanted to cover up too, because there are also reports of dead bodies found in his ranch. So now we get to the filth, the degeneracy of this rabbit hole. The worst shit ever. Now I gotta be very careful here because YouTube has been demonetizing a lot of my Epstein videos recently. They've been coming after me. And they're not even giving it a chance to have an appeal yet. So... we're going to get into this, right? There's emails in which they are talking, him talking to a redacted person, I wonder who it could be, about 14 to 15-year-olds being of reproductive age. Therefore, am I a pervert because I think they can be banged and stuff like that? So there's talk about that. Now, I've seen a lot of people on the internet use these talking points. Very, very sus. But it gets even worse. John Brockman. You missed the big event on Saturday. A party with a dozen beautiful East Side girls. Well, a dozen one-year-olds. Fuck. The guy's a prominent American literary agent specializing in scientific literature. That's not the only person in the scientific community that Epstein would have a connection to and talk to about weird stuff. Another email where there's again a reference to babies being birthed for black market use. Epstein would have women become human incubators for him to have babies that he can turn into designer babies for experimentation purposes. And God knows what else. There is a poem of a trauma victim where she talks about her experiences with Epstein and Maxwell. She talks about how there was a doctor from Israel who came to remove the baby from her, shot, and those rod-like things had a hook and so much pain. Ghislaine said to push, blood and water all over the place. She said she closed her eyes. Regardless, her baby was taken from her after this happened. A lot of stuff with babies. There are references to blood transfusion to stop aging. We know that the rich really want to stop aging and talk about blood from kids. And references to blood from people a lot in these files. And this is a film producer, by the way, who said this. Barry Josephson, I think. No defamation. That's what I'm reading. This is the stuff that had me fuming. Mark Trameau sent an email to Epstein, was just reading today that newborns will suck on a pacifier more vigorously if it triggers playback of a recording of the mother's voice than any other woman's voice. Have you read this, social animal? Epstein did not have a son. There was no wife of his. He had human incubators giving him kids. And this professor was giving him advice on how to make kids suck on things more vigorously. Whether it be the mother or the multiple mothers that Epstein had these babies taken from and probably had killed, or something else. I don't want to say what it is. I don't even want to go there. But this guy, this professor, has had multiple emails with Epstein. There are things on my mind right now that are violent that I'm not going to say because I'm not trying to do a call to violence on my channel. Okay? This guy's an actual professor. Multiple students have had issues with him and filed complaints against him. Okay? I think he's been removed from the website of the university he's in or whatever, but there's a petition online to get him fired from his job. Now, I'm not saying that's what you should do. And I'm not saying he did anything. No defamation. But I'm saying I'm going to link that in my comment section on the YouTube. Click on it and do what you will. Read it through and you make your decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm sure responsible people will know what to do, but I'm not going to tell you what that thing is. Why are you emailing Epstein telling him methods of making babies suck more vigorously on things? Especially when he was having women be human incubators, pumping out babies for him for experimental usage. And there's a redacted picture with a description of what the picture is. Why it's redacted? Probably because there are people in the picture that the DOJ doesn't want to get out, identity-wise, okay? I'm not going to tell you what it is. I can't even talk about it, but it's a bunch of men holding down a girl and doing unspeakable things to her, okay? That's it. Some True Detective level shit. You remember that scene in True Detective where Rush shows Marty the tape of what that ritual that happens to that kid? It's the same exact type of shit, man. Demonic, satanic fucks! I'm him right now. And there is a person who's giving confidential information in exchange for Bitcoin, okay? Where he's talking about, listen, I know at least 2 women are dead, buried in Epstein's ranch, and I'm going to send you video files of things Epstein's done with underage girls. And you can see him linking with descriptions of what they are in exchange for money. Don't know if the FBI ever looked into it, probably fucking not. Now we get to the hunting shit. It never stops. Now there are vague references to hunting all around. Sniping things at night. People have wondered what is this? There is one line saying, guess what, they're all N-words. Some girls dress to hunt for guys. Karnia dresses to something, hunt for food. Redacted, everything's fucking redacted. Look how beautiful she looks when she's going out to seek food. That's the subject line. Woody Allen and Epstein are having this very weird conversation on text. He didn't just cause heartburn, he ate them. Because you also eat the bones, provided fiber, because yeah, I don't like waste. At least I'm thinner now, huh? What could they be talking about? Who knows? We know there's a lot of code names for food. At least people theorize as much. Babies and cream cheese was literally in an email referenced, talking about babies and the flavor of them compared to cream cheese. This picture was in the Epstein files, apparently, of meat. We don't know what it is. It was later deleted. You can't find that picture again, but it was in there. People noted this. Why was it deleted? What's in that? What does that mean? Who knows? Who knows? And then the final piece of this little weird rabbit hole is, who is Snow White? Again, that TikToker went into the Epstein files. I need to be very careful with this picture. They found a picture of this dude who is, I think, ACO or connected to JP Morgan. And this isn't the first weird painting you would find in a Epstein file. Listen, he's had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress in his house, okay? That's this guy. Otherwise known as Jess Staley. This is a weird, perverted-looking picture of Jess Staley with a picture of Snow White behind him. Alright? Look at this email between him and Epstein. That was fun. Say hi to Snow White. I think Epstein's saying, what character would you like next? My only question would be, and look at the connections Epstein has to people high up in all these corporations and companies, y'all. All degenerates. My only question is, who was the poor Snow White? Who's being role-played to death? And that Jesus message, that Jesus email that I told you about, some people suggested that was also a form of religious, unholy role-play. Now, let's talk about the political influence very quickly, okay? So, an envoy to Turkey sent him child photos, apparently. Send photos of you and child make me smile. Jeffrey sent that to Tom Barrack, okay? Tom Barrack talked about... Jeffrey Epstein said in response to him, I've received many emails about Donald Trump and about Clinton, but less so Clinton recently, and I just say I try to ignore it altogether and not say anything, okay? So he's talking about how to avoid any connection that you had between these two politicians, with these two politicians. This guy, by the way, Tom Barrack, was senior advisor to Trump in his first 4 years of office, I believe. And he's not the only person connected to Trump. The current Secretary of Commerce for Trump right now, also Ludwig, again, has had business dealings with Epstein, and he's lied about it. Blatantly. And he's had social visits with Epstein too, by the way. Jeffrey Epstein literally told Bill Gates that the new administration people are visiting the island 1 month after Trump won the election. Come visit the island, new administration people visiting. So, if we're trying to be obtuse, you could say, okay, well, this doesn't mean it's Trump's political administration. It could be administration for anything, a business administration, all that. Okay, maybe. Probably fucking not. Now, this doesn't mean Trump himself went to the island, but many of his staff did go. And it's already proven that he had communication with somebody on Trump's staff. So they're all involved. Also, Stephen Harper, once a leader of Canada, was given $1 million in an account in the financial statements when they looked into the Epstein files. Harper and Associates, which is, I think, confirmed to be an account of Harper's, he was given $1 million by Epstein. There's so much more that I didn't get to cover. This video is already getting too long. It's about to be 30 minutes long. There's so much more. I'll probably cover it the rest in another video, and there's more coming out every day. This is the problem. Every time I go on Twitter, people have unearthed a new file. And I always have to fact check them because a lot of people can bullshit. AI is being used left and right? But a lot of it you can cross-reference with the DOJ's own website. Plus Jmail. CoffeeZilla and a couple of people came up with Jmail. There's so much more, guys. Now, I think Pam Bondi said this. Somebody said this, and it's been memed on social media. If we prosecute everyone in these files, the whole system will crash. Good. Let it crash and burn. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to allow and let go what occurred, what happened to these kids, to all these victims. This is satanic and evil and pathetic. And the fact that this administration is covering this up is pathetic. These two need to resign. These need to be locked up. They need to be locked up, in my opinion. No defamation. But by every single confine of the law, they need to be locked up. They have lied on oath so many times. Let's trace the lie rabbit hole, okay? First, all these guys rallied to get the files out before getting elected. Okay? They were like, yeah, we need to release Epstein files. The Democrats don't want to see that, right? Then when they got in, they stated there were no files. Pam Bondi said they were on my desk. They're on my desk. Then they were like, oh, they disappeared somehow. Then they said, okay, the files exist, but there's no evidence in the files, even warranting an investigation. No evidence that Epstein trafficked kids to people. No evidence that Donald Trump is in any way implicated. No evidence of anything. Lies upon lies. Then Kash Patel recently says there's a 100% chance that Epstein offed himself. Clearly you don't understand probabilities, my friend. There was also 2 minutes cut from the prison footage. The security prison footage where Epstein was. And there are also emails talking about how they faked and swapped the body. Then, right before the DOJ did their release, the FBI scrubbed those files clean. So we don't know how much shit was truly gone from there. Then they strategically redacted the names of all the powerful people and then somehow unredacted victims for intimidation purposes. Now we've been given a muddled list of names. Just to blanket everyone in the, oh, we can never know, it's not relevant. Do you understand what's happening? Do you understand now? The narrative has shifted every single time. We cannot allow this. There needs to be a change. I said this in my last few videos, and I've gotten a lot of emails of people interested, and I'm going to reply to them all. I am starting a secret society of vigilantes. I know me saying it doesn't make it secret anymore, but I'm starting it. Because we can't... I don't like the idea that there's a specific group of people who have different rules applied to them than us. And we're still supposed to be good citizens, pay our taxes and all that, while they're doing all this weird shit. Evil shit. So, the purpose of this group is to help victims, expose crimes, and bring people like this on these files into the light, and keep powerful figures accountable. They need to be punished. We're trying to do this all. We're not trying to commit any crimes here. Now, for those of you who have emailed and are interested, we accept everybody. We will have a vetting process. Okay, we can't just invite anyone to this. You need to have this vetted. Can't have a gang of nut jobs going crazy, right? Right now, we are looking specifically for people with legal expertise, whether you're in law or are a lawyer, or maybe you have connections to law enforcement, whatever. Private investigation, you've had some experience there, or journalism. You have social media experience, because obviously any kind of movement like this needs to know how to grow online to have the most exposure. And somebody in cybersecurity, people with cybersecurity knowledge. These are the people we're looking for. All right. Even if you don't have skills like this, you're welcome to join. Obviously, a movement needs numbers behind it, right? But we do need people like this. You just need to, with what we're dealing with. Okay. So I just want to put that announcement out there. Email me. My email's in my YouTube bio, whatever. It's just too important, guys. I'm done just sitting. I'm a movie channel, right? But I am also a vigilante. I branded myself as such. I act like such. I want to be that. This is a path to get there. Because this Epstein shit has just... It's turned my world inside out. I need to do this. So if you're interested, email me, and we'll get it going. Alright? Let's take these PDF files down, one coke line at a time.